Hi there, this is Navida Dolopo, and today I'm going to present to you, I think this is my 14th fertility video, but I'm really not going to be talking about fertility so much as I'm going to be talking about the S word. So just in case there's some kind of weird algorithm, I'm going to be talking about sex. I'm going to use the term lovemaking or intimacy, just to keep this as clean as possible. This is probably going to be a 30-minute video. I want to make sure that you understand this is especially to women who have a partner, have a male partner, whether that's your husband or your boyfriend or your life partner, however your relationship is. This video needs to be watched with him. I just pulled up online how much U.S. infertility clinics businesses have increased since 2000. This was published May 11, 2020. You can just go online and see if this is accurate, but this was one of the top 3. I'm just going to read this really fast. It's going to be just a paragraph, and I'm going to move on to something else. ART assisted reproductive technology now produces more than 50,000 babies per year via 330,000 IVF procedures. Demand is growing from the ranks of 7+ million infertile women, many of which delayed childbearing due to careers. There are about 450 U.S. fertility clinics, 100+ sperm banks, an unknown number of egg donors, and 1,700 reproductive endocrinologists competing for the business, which is lucrative. In addition, the U.S. market for fertility drugs is worth about $749 million. Only 2 large chains, Integramed and Prelude Fertility, exist, as most programs are run by small MD practices or are part of a hospital or university. The market is fragmented, served by mostly small regional clinics. So I'll just leave that up to you to see if that's accurate information. That's as much as I want to share regarding the US, not to talk about the rest of the world. I'm going to back up a little more now. Both my grandmothers, who were born in the early 1900s, had 11 children each. And their generation and the women before then, your grandparents, my grandparents, and before then, that was their job, and whether we like it or not, that was what their role was. In Chinese medicine, especially between 14 to 28, those are healthy ages to give birth. Now, in our society, would I want my teenagers to give birth? Absolutely not. But, especially in a woman's 20s, late teens, 20s, perfect age to give birth, right? Perfect age to get pregnant, to conceive naturally and give birth to full-term pregnancies. Having said that, if you review my other 13 videos, I talk, especially the first 9, they were specifically on natural fertility. I'm going to repeat. I had my kids at 30, 36, and 43 naturally. What did I do to still have a career, to still be able to, have a really busy business? From age 20 to 30, I did acupuncture 1 to 5 times a week, herbs almost every day, and Qigong. During the last Qigong, someone had asked, Anna, I'll keep doing Qigong for a year if you can guarantee that I'll have a baby. I can't guarantee anything. What I do is I increase your chances. Now we're going to talk specifically about natural fertility and, let's say, IUI, because you're still needing to have intercourse. How does it hurt to do Qigong? That's pretty easy. How does it hurt you? It doesn't. It increases your vitality. I've given my 10th video is Anne's 30 pieces of advice. And I keep informing my patients, please watch the video. And I also have written it all down. So you don't have to watch the video. You can also review one thing a day. Don't read everything all at once. And I talk about intimacy. I talk about, and I share the videos, the exact videos from Mantak Chia. This is, the Mantak Chia is really what I want to talk about in this video, because a patient came in tonight. Her husband is 50. They're Asian, and there are many Asian women here trying to get pregnant. Why would that be the case? And this is pertinent to all races, not just Asian women. But why are there a lot of Asian women having a hard time getting pregnant naturally? Well, I told you what my grandparents did. That was their job. That wasn't competing in school and going to college and getting advanced degrees and having this, lifelong career as doctors, lawyers, dentists, or what have you. That wasn't necessarily their role. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's what it was back then. Now we compete. Definitely in this generation, I'm 46, so my generation, the generation, women in their 30s and on, and every generation hereafter, more than likely, we're raised to compete with each other. Us girls compete with other girls, other boys in school, and then compete to get into college. There's a lot of stress, and compete to get our MBA or our master's or go into our PhD, whatever one decides to do for their career. And working the 40 hours is not necessarily the thing. They have to work 45, 50, 60 plus hours. I know, because I see these women here. So the demand on women is so hard. And then one thing that we don't discuss in school is one day you might want to have children. So the dynamics, the expectations of women have changed over years. But what happens is when we start craving the careers, something kicks in our 30s or 40s or late 40s, is now we want to have a baby. Many women who come in, they spent how much time being on the pill so that they aren't bothered with horrible periods. Chinese medicine has a solution for that, and I talk about that in other videos. Get your period perfect, because your period is a direct reflection of your health. I don't want to talk about that here. We can talk privately. I don't want to spend time on what exactly I want from your period. But when you're on the pill a year, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and one day you say, I want to, you know what? I'm not like when I was 22 or 25. I want to have kids now. And you've been on this pill that's been messing with your hormones, messing with your body's natural chemistry. And now you decide, I don't want to not be a mom anymore. I want to be a mom. And you hear about other women who just get off the pill and get pregnant. Well, I'm not talking about those women. I'm talking about the women who have been on the pill easily 10, 15 years. You get off the pill, your chemistry's not natural anymore, and now you just all of a sudden want to spontaneously have a baby. And you're working 40 plus hours a week. But everyone else is, and they're able to get pregnant. Well, that's not the case for many women. And as you can hear from earlier, how infertility has increased, the infertility business has increased since 2000, for the last 20 years. I want to bring up this book, The Tao of Love and Sex. And I'm just going to read the first paragraph, and then I'll go from there. And I'm going to tell you exactly, again, what I'd like for you to do. Number one, I really need for you to review slowly. I don't care if it takes you a month, but learn one thing a day in Anne's 30 pieces of advice for fertility. There's a reason why I was able to conceive naturally at 30, 36, and 43. And what I'm about to share with you has a lot to do with it. The Tao of Loving. And I'm going to be doing further chapters, further videos to really break down this book, because until my needles have sperm, I can't get you pregnant. And I joke around with my female patients, the women who are trying to get pregnant. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, statistics show that 40% of fertility issues are the men. You'll hear me say fertility a lot. I don't like to use the word infertility. And that one word, fertility, makes women pregnant. That's a discussion we have privately, in case you wonder why I tend to not use the word infertility as frequently as the word fertility. The Tao of Loving. 2,000 years ago, if not much earlier, the Chinese Taoist physicians were writing frank, explicit books on love and sex. They were neither prurient nor self-conscious because they regarded love-making as necessary to the physical and mental health and well-being of both men and women. In keeping with this philosophy, they placed strong emphasis on sexual skills. Everything was done to further man's loving prowess. Literature and art were produced illustrating sexual techniques. A husband who could enjoy frequent and prolonged sexual intercourse was more highly rated than one who was merely young and handsome. To the Taoist physicians, lovemaking was considered a part of the natural order of things. Sex was not only to be enjoyed and savored, but was considered wholesome and life-preserving. When you're in my practice, I talk a lot about Jing Qi. When you're doing my Qigong, I talk a lot about Jing Qi. You must preserve your Jing Qi. If you don't know what that is, you're not listening to me. If you don't know what that is, you're not looking at the text that I send you. I share this. This one video shouldn't impact anyone's fertility clinics. But if you are trying to get pregnant naturally, this is information you really need to pay attention to. Your Jing Qi is it's the deepest part. I like to just easily translate it as your egg and your sperm. It's the deepest level of Qi. It's a lot more than that. It's vitality, it's everything. But your Jing Qi, bottom line, that's the power of your sperm, your mobility, and morphology of your sperm. And for eggs, it's the quality of your eggs. That's my opinion. That's how I interpret Chinese medicine. I've been in practice since 1999. I've been studying Chinese medicine since 1994. And I've been studying Taoist philosophy since 1991. So I'm a little keen to really understanding this information. And I want to translate this into this video that you should be watching with your spouse or your partner who you're going to make a baby with the traditional way, being sexual intercourse. In order to keep people proficient in loving a number of methods were formulated, and erotic pictures were used both to instruct and titillate men and women. In their book Erotic Art, Phyllis and Eberhard Kronhausen quote a poem written by Chang Heng about AD 100, which describes how a bride uses an erotic guidebook to make her wedding night a memorable one. This is the poem. Let us now unlock the double door with its golden lock, and light the lamp to fill our room with its brilliance. I shed my robes and remove my paint and powder, and roll out the picture scroll by the side of the window. The plain girl I shall take as my instructress. So that's the first page. It goes straight into exactly what this book is about. And there is an illustration of the scroll. And if you can see, there's a yin-yang. Where is my yin-yang? This yin-yang is homeostasis. It's perfect harmony. In traditional baby making, a man and a woman are required to conceive. I'm talking about traditional baby making. There is a picture of a woman with a man, the Tao of love and sex. Many of the patients here who are wanting to conceive naturally or with IUI, they're having to have sex. And I have to talk about intimacy. In my earlier videos, I'm very kind and nice and talk about how acupuncture helps with fertility. And now I'm 46 and I'm a lot more direct to the point. Because I know what works and I know what doesn't work, and I am being extremely selective now with with the patients who come in, whether it's for natural, IUI, or IVF, because your time and money mean a lot to me. I want to make sure that your investment with me really works. It will benefit you to ground your feet. I talk about that in another video. The science of grounding, look it up on YouTube. That is so important. It will benefit you to understand electromagnetic radiation. It will benefit you to call me when you have a blue pen and white, or text me when you have a blue pen and white paper, and you write exactly what I have you do. And think and use emotion, and I break this down privately with you. It will benefit you to do the integration technique, the one that I show you with the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the ears and the hands and the heart. It will benefit you to really cultivate your relationship with your husband. It will benefit you to buy skanky outfits. I don't know how else to, raunchy. If you have to wonder, is this, skanky enough? Then it's not. Why is that important? Because men are visual creatures. I can share with you scientific data that men are intrigued by certain smells, and it gives them sexual arousal. I will show you how men are intrigued. Why do you think the porn industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry? I'm going to assume that. Why? Because we're sexual creatures. And I'm not saying that porn is right or porn is wrong. I'm saying that it exists and men are big consumers of it. So it will benefit you to buy some really sexy outfits for your partner. It will benefit you to not have sex only during ovulation. It will benefit you to not tell your husband, I'm ovulating, so we should have sex now. If you only have sex with your husband when it's ovulation time, he knows it, and it's not as fun, it's not as spontaneous. When I'm teaching Qigong and I say, hey, get a hotel room today because you're vibrating really high and your Qi is really strong, there's a reason why. I have 3 kids. I had them at 30, 36, and 43. Qigong has benefited me. Acupuncture has benefited me. There's a reason why I tell people to come 2 times a week or 3 times a week, because I'm following a recipe. I'm following a recipe that was given to me in Chinese medical school. I'm following a recipe that I myself have done in my own life. I'm following a recipe that the women that I know in their own lives with their patients of mine, whether they are patients of mine or not, have done. I've said it over and over and over in my videos. Some of the things my patients have said was, Anna, the best thing you said to me was, don't have sex to have fun. Have sex to have fun, not to get it done. Have sex to have fun, not to get it done. What do they say here? The prowess. The kind of sex that you have with your partner in order to get him to, let him know, I'm worthy of being with you for the rest of your life. That's the kind of sex you should be having, to not just have a baby, but to cultivate the relationship. It is the most powerful thing you can do with your man. It is the most powerful thing you can do. And if your lovemaking is a dry vagina, or painful, or it's tedious, or we got to do it, then don't do it. You should be able to have a lubricated vagina without having to use lubrication. That's because that tells me that you have strong kidney yin. That's important. I tell you about the book Healing with Whole Foods, and I spell it out to you, and I earmark it to you, and I give it to you, and I say, don't think, just eat these foods. I want you to focus on kidney yin, kidney yang, kidney qi, kidney jing, and other things. There is a lot of work, there's a lot of reprogramming that has to be done with many of you. And the women who are pregnant, or women who have had babies with me, they followed a recipe. And that recipe is so important, Before I let you go, I'm going to read to you the most recent testimonial. This one is a natural fertility case. And if you go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com, you click, you hover over fertility, pregnancy, birth, you'll see it says 2020 natural fertility. The URL is elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com/2020, the number, -natural-fertility. So I'm going to wrap this up by reading this and maybe give a little of my 2 cents. I just got this last week, just to let you know. Today is September 29, 2020. My husband and I were trying to have a baby with no success. We went and had every fertility test ran that is available today, and all results came back great. Medically speaking, fertility doctors, we saw more than one, could not find an explanation for why we were not getting pregnant. They told us there is a small percentage of couples that can't conceive naturally, and they don't know why. All of them were happy, of course, to offer us in vitro treatments. Before going down that road, I started seeing Anna for fertility. In less than a year of working with Anna, we got pregnant. She actually worked with me for 12 months. She still comes for fertility care. I asked for 6 to 12 cycles. She got pregnant on the 12th month. I have a very high success rate with meeting my numbers. I just want to share that. It was not under 12 months. It was exactly 12 months. We are now 30 weeks pregnant with our first child conceived naturally with no fertility treatments thanks to Anna's help. Right away, I could tell my cycle was improving from her acupuncture treatments. Her treatments are very powerful and effective, but she also worked with me to change my mindset and reprioritize my life. I'm going to repeat that, but she also worked with me to change my mindset and reprioritize my life. I truly think I'm better prepared to handle motherhood because of her advice and talks. Before I go forward with this, I'm going to share what I share in my other 13 videos for fertility. At least in 2 of them, I know I said this specifically. If you want, and I'm going to move my camera, that picture, a picture where you have a bunch of kids, or at least one. What you do today determines what your life is going to be like in 5 or 10 years. It took me 21 years to finally be able to sign up for my doctorate program, and I'm okay with that. It came at a cost. Number one, there was no doctorate program when I was in Chinese medical school in the 90s. And when it was out, I started having kids. My desire to become a mom came first. It was more prevalent. And so, yes, I have worked hard, but I've also treated myself 1 to 5 times a week throughout my career so far in the last 21 years. If you work really hard at your job now, what do you think you're going to have in 10 years? You're going to be excellent at your job. You're going to be top performer. But you probably won't be a mom. I asked a couple who drove from Glendale earlier this year. It was a 3rd try for IVF, and it was their first and only appointment with me, and it was in 2 weeks. And I said, how would it be worth it to you if you do nothing for 2 weeks and your husband and your other business partners take control? They're Asian, and they own a restaurant and some other businesses. And I said, and the worst thing that happens is you lose 50 grand. But what happens is that you have a positive pregnancy test. Would it be worth it? Her answer was, I don't know. Then you don't want to have a baby. Having a baby, that has to be your only priority. And no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about the importance of hot sex, the importance of lowering your office hours or lowering your work hours, reprioritizing your life. That's exactly what she said here. But she also worked with me to change my mindset and reprioritize my life. It's very hard now to come in and become my fertility patient. You have to really understand if it's natural. I've always said this. I've been in practice since 99, but since 2008 until last year, I only took natural fertility cases. And I asked for 6 to 12 cycles, 12 to 18 cycles, or 2 to 3 years. Now, when it comes to IVF or IUI, I ask for a minimum of 3 months, if not 6 months. I would prefer to work with you for at least 6 months. If it's 3 months, you come 3 times a week. If it's 6 months, you come twice a week. And women still want to negotiate with me. Let me ask you something. if you're a professional boxer, or if you're a professional fighter, or I've treated 5 Olympians, 4 of them gold medalists, or if you have you're in the NBA or you're in some kind of professional sport, let's talk about being a professional fighter, because that's more a one-on-one. And you were told, and you're not ready yet. You're absolutely not ready. And they say, you're going to fight in a month. Are you ready? And you haven't trained at all. Are you ready? Are you ready to make that commitment? But if you have at least 6 months, to get your diet right, to get your training together, and push yourself. Maybe even better at 9 or 12 months, because you really take the time. If I have people here who want to be in the next Olympics, and they're not going to wait until a year. They're training now. Do you get my point? Do you see what you see where I'm getting at? I'm not giving you a gold medal. I'm giving you a baby, which is far more important than a gold medal. That picture that you saw, that took work from age 20 to 30. I worked on myself, and I still work on myself. Before I started my work today at 4 p.m., I gave myself a treatment. I treat myself 1 to 5 times a week. I have my herbs. I'm doing Qigong. I'm still following the protocol. My tubes are tied since age 43 after I gave birth to my 3rd child. But I'll tell you what, I have this belief system that if I wanted to have another child, I'd have them untie my tubes if that were medically possible, or at least take my eggs, and I promise you the quality of my eggs would be perfect, because I have that belief system, because I cultivate my chi over and over and over every day, and I cultivate my relationships. So something to consider. What she shared there is so paramount, but she also worked with me to change my mindset and reprioritize my life. This isn't just for the women. Hey, 40% of 40% of fertility issues is a man. I share with you videos of Dr. John Gray and other neuroscientists, but especially Dr. John Gray talks about testosterone. He talks about fertility. The information is there. Information is not power. Information is used as power. You have to know how your body works. Having dry, bland sex is not going to get you a baby, and if it does, all power to you. Having wet, sloppy sex in a hotel room with the man that you love, that you want to bear children with, that is far more powerful. I trained with a guy today, and he was we were talking about his children, and he said he had a friend. They had multiple, I don't know how many failed IVFs, spent over $100,000, over $100,000, heartbroken. They gave up, let go. No more stress, boom, got pregnant. So that's completely in alignment with other people I know who just said, we just gave up, and they got pregnant because the stress was gone. And I talk about this in my other videos. I'm not going to talk about this here. I really feel if you follow everything Anna tells you to do and have faith and patience, she can make you a mother regardless of your past fertility struggles. I'm going to repeat that. I really feel if you follow everything Anna tells you to do, she can make you a mother. To all the future mommies out there reading this, I wish you the very best on your journey. I know the heartache all too well of fertility struggles. Don't give up. There are times in my journey to motherhood where Anna was my only solace, as it was hard on not just me, but my husband as well at times. I don't know how I would have made it through this time in my life without Anna's help and guidance. I can't even find the words to accurately express my gratitude to Anna and how much she means to me. I'm so thankful to have her in my life. My wish for all future mothers out there is that they find Anna, because I know in my heart she made all the difference in my journey. Paige, Costa Mesa, September 24. I've posted at least 2 Qigong fertility, 2 fertility video newsletters in the past month. In the past month, maybe even 2 months, I've posted 2 fertility newsletters. I posted a Qigong newsletter. For all you women and men who want babies, I don't know why I don't have more people coming to my Qigong. It is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's not an external martial art. It's an internal martial art. We really work on strengthening your Jing Qi, and you have to really take that seriously. The Qigong is just as important as the acupuncture, is just as important as the herbs, is just as important as the mindset, and is just as important as the sex. But if I were to put anything higher than all of that, of all those 5, it would be the sex. Sloppy sex. Fun, not just during ovulation. Happy. It's the most powerful thing you could do for yourself. It is the ultimate acupuncture. If you want to, I don't know how else to say it. Until I have a needle, I think I have needles in my pocket. Until I have these needles have sperm, because if they did, I'd be so precise. I'm a very precise person in life, but I don't have sperm in the needles, so I still need the man to do his duty. Men, I need your testosterone level really high. Dr. John Gray talks about how to increase your sperm, how to increase your sperm quality. I tell people to get this book, Venus on Fire, Mars on Ice. He talks about it. He breaks it down in the videos. This guy talks about testosterone. He talks about oxytocin. He talks about hormones. I really, truly, this is my opinion. If you can really cultivate your relationship and strengthen your bodies internally, not just externally, I'm talking about internal work. Internal work. Breathing correctly, using the proper mindset. And like what she said, she put in the work. There's something that my husband says, that everyone wants to have a black belt. No, not many people want to do the work to become a black belt. It takes time, and no, I don't guarantee anything. And I do have Anne's fertility program. There's a video for that. You can watch that. I know I was pretty intense in this video. Many of you want something from me that is so powerful, and that is the most powerful thing that anyone can ever give you, and it's a baby. And for the last 21 years, I've been making babies. I literally have made my own babies naturally in my 30s and 40s. And I have made many women mommies, most with natural fertility and with IVF and IUI. There's a reason why I have specific requirements, because I know what works and I know what probably doesn't work. So I hope you had a good time watching this. Please, 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 please watch the Mantak Chia videos, especially the ones about mastering the vagina. You gotta know how to master the vagina, and you have to know how to please your husband. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for bearing through with this. I have shared some do-it-yourself porn in those videos. If you haven't gotten them, you're not paying attention to my text messages. Okay? All right. Have a great night. Thank you for watching.